We should start them younger. And as difficult as it is for a child to wrap his mind around the difference between a boy and a girl, to implement something that is so technical when it comes to all the different variations of people within the LGBT community, all the different variations, to try to explain that to a child will only confuse them more. So I'm pretty sure majority of parents are not willing to do that. What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to A Different Perspective. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for your boy. So earlier today I came across a video. This is about a trans woman that had an incident at a Sonic with a Sonic manager, and she was upset about how it was that she was treated. This video is about 5 minutes long. I watched a minute and a half of it. I was like, nope, I want to talk about the rest of this with my viewers. Now, mind you, like I said, this is a different perspective, so I want us to have a serious, in-depth conversation around this topic when it comes to the trans and the LGBT community. Now, this is a very touchy topic. It's a very, very touchy topic, but I want us to have a fair conversation about it. So as I was sitting here getting the orders together for the new Speak Your Truth shirts, they are going out the door on Monday. I was thinking about why it is that there is such a major pushback when it comes to not just the trans community, but the LGBT community as a whole. And I think there's a very important conversation to be had there. So with that being said, let's sit back, sit tight, and let's dive into it. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's check this video out.
That's fine.
I mean, I'll pull.
And why you want to record me?
Because your entire staff has been calling me sir.
Okay. You want to park?
Why don't you tell me what we can do now?
No, because I can do the same thing with you.
Okay, but your entire staff has been calling me sir the entire time.
Okay.
All right, so understand what's happening here. So this trans woman, someone who wants to be identified as a woman, probably looks like a male, like a man dressed as a female. That's probably why these people are saying sir to this individual. So let's talk about that for a second. Understand, part of the reason why people may address somebody as something that that person might not want to be addressed as, because of gender norms, people will still refer to you being either a man or woman, regardless of what it is that you're wearing. Because there are differences between male and female when it comes to physical traits. They can see, all right, this physical trait more so aligns with a man, so I'm going to call this person a man. This trait more so aligns with the female, so I'm going to call this person a female, regardless of what their clothes are saying. Because the clothes can tell a lie, but what's in between the legs and the physical traits, typically that doesn't tell a lie. I can hear the arguments now. Well, what I have between my legs has been lying to me. When it comes down to science, and the reason why the two genders were labeled male and female is because of their role in procreation.
What about me looks like a sir right now? Okay?
Okay. Can we please move to the side?
No.
He may not be the perpetrator as to, who's calling the trans a sir.
What?
Look, I'm sorry, and
all right, let's real quick. We got to talk about that. This individual said, "What about me that looks like a sir?" There's probably some things about this individual that looks like a sir as to the reasons why people were calling them a sir. It's like, all right, look, you might be dressed as a woman, but we see through the disguise. That's probably what people are thinking. Not to say that it's right or wrong, but
apologize for what happened. Okay, if they did that, or I'm sorry. What else can I tell you? Ma'am, what else can I tell you?
What?
If you're can we please move to the
If
side?
I'm a what?
You see, all right, he didn't say anything there.
What?
If you're can we please move to the
If
side?
I'm a what?
Look, he didn't say it, so don't pull for it.
You please move to the side.
If I'm a what?
I didn't say anything.
He's not gonna say anything.
Okay, don't try to put any words in my mouth.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, look. If they call you a sir, I don't know what they did then.
Because they saw the name on my credit card, and they
Well,
were being they were not being nice people.
The trans woman said they saw the name on my credit card. Certain tracks have to be covered. Certain things have to appear to be exactly as they are. And if they're not, then you can't really expect for someone to consider you to be something when they're seeing something else. They saw the name on the credit card say David. They're like, that is a man dressed as a woman. That's what they're thinking and believing. It's hard to fight them on that. And I'm gonna explain why. So for people within the LGBT trans community, the fight for equality, the fight for respect is going to be a lifelong fight. And part of the reason I believe is because of three key factors, right? First and foremost, a big part of the reason why there will always be a struggle for this acceptance when it comes to the LGBT community is to understand human nature. It's to understand the nature of adults, which is in order for a person to be put in a position to learn about something that they don't quite understand, they have to first care to learn it. And that's how we are as adults. We have to care about a certain topic in order to put ourselves in the position to understand it, right? So there will always be people that are not part of the LGBT community that will always push back against it because they don't care to learn it. They don't care to learn about the struggles or the issues or the different variations of groups within that community. They don't care to learn it, and they never will. So when it comes to people that aren't of that community, they feel a frustration and the irritation as well. Is because like for them, they might be thinking, yo, why is it that these people are trying to push something on me so hard for me to accept that I frankly don't care that much about? I don't care enough about it to respect it, but I care enough about it to maybe make fun of it, this, that, or the fourth. I'm not saying that they're right, but it also isn't right to try to force someone to understand something that is so complicated that people within the community, some of them don't quite understand it themselves. Like I got a friend, one of my closest friends, it's a gay guy, right? He has a boyfriend. I hang out with them from time to time, right? And because I care about him, I'll ask him certain questions about his experience as a gay man. And he will even tell me, he is like, yo, there's so much to this that I'm confused. And he's a very smart dude, but he'll tell me that there's so much within the community that confuses him so much that, you know, he'll research it, he'll learn about it so that he can be educated on it, but still it confuses him so much that he's like, you know what? He's like, I tend to kind of separate myself from a lot of that stuff. I know who I am. I know what I want, right? So that's what matters to him. But like I said, since I'm someone that cares about him and his well-being and who he is as a person, I care to be educated about what it is that he is experiencing as a non-straight man. So like I said, part of the reason there's going to always be that pushback is because there are people that just will never care to be educated on the issues of the trans community or the LGBT community. We see it from this video here where this individual is being upset at being called something that they don't want to be called. You know, I live here in Atlanta, right? And in Atlanta, I see a lot, and I mean a lot of lesbian women that dress very butch. There's some of them want to be referred to as a man, and there's some of them where if you call them sir, they will get offended. So it's very hard as a person that's not of the community to understand how to maneuver when it comes to people that are of the LGBT community, because you may try your hardest to say something that doesn't offend them, but end up offending them anyway, which is part of the reason why people that aren't of the community feel as though that community is so sensitive. It's almost as if you're also disregarding our feelings and what we're viewing and how we've been brought up and what we understand about the man and female experience. Our feelings and emotions are not being accounted for as well. Now, the third reason why there's going to always be a struggle for the LGBT community when it comes to accept this, right? And this is the kicker. What we're taught as children growing up. When a child is coming into age and maybe like around 2-3 years old, they see their brother or sister, or they see a boy or girl in their school or within their proximity, and they see that there is a difference between the two of them. So the kid might ask their parents, hey, mom, like, why am I a boy and why is Susie a girl? And even though the parent may try their best to explain why that is, hey, it's because, Kevin, you have a penis and Susie has a vagina. And even if the child sees the difference between the two sexual organisms, right? Even if the child sees the difference between the two, they still don't quite understand what makes them a girl and what makes him a boy. They don't quite understand the difference. They just know that she's a girl because she has a vagina and I'm a boy because I have a penis. That's all they are capable of understanding. They can't go any further with it. See, within the LGBT community, a lot of them are saying that, we should start the kids younger at understanding the difference when it comes to the LGBT and the trans community. I know the T stands for trans, but, we should start them younger. And as difficult as it is for a child to wrap his mind around the difference between a boy and a girl, to implement something that is so technical when it comes to all the different variations of people within the LGBT community, all the different variations, to try to explain that to a child will only confuse them more. So I'm pretty sure majority of parents are not willing to do that. I don't see it happening now, and I can't foresee that happening in the future. And because of that, there will constantly be a struggle for acceptance when it comes to the LGBT community, right? And it goes so much deeper. There's so much more I can say when it comes to why they will always have pushback when it comes to that, as to why they will always have pushback. But like I said, I feel like that may be a lifelong struggle. Let's get back to the video.
So your name of the card guy. What do you want them to tell you?
That has nothing to do with it. There could be someone in the back that they don't see that's paying.
Okay, ma'am.
So why would they intentionally do that? Can you tell me what your location has done to be trans competent? Because clearly they are not.
And you heard the statement that she made, right? What she basically said there was, what has your company done to be understanding of trans people? Pretty sure this trans individual knows that this company hasn't done a darn thing, and most companies haven't. Majority of companies haven't.
Ma'am, believe me, whatever you're saying or whatever you're trying to do with this,
I'm not trying to do anything.
Yes, because you're recording.
No, because...
Okay, you're recording. You want to put it on social media?
No, because I have been faced with discrimination from your staff.
I'm so sorry that you feel discriminated, but we have employees here.
That
are gay. If you're saying that are gay, they're here. They work here.
So I'm not gay.
I don't say that.
We're talking about my gender identity, not my sexuality.
And then that right there is another part of the thing that, like I said, confuses people, because this trans woman is saying, look, I'm not gay. We're talking about my gender identity, not my sexuality. It's hard for people to differentiate. It's hard for people that are not within the trans community to differentiate the two, because we can see someone that looks as though they're a man when they strip off all the makeup, the clothes, and the wig. Let's say you take two men. I'm not saying they're straight, trans, or gay. I'm not saying any of that. There's two men stripped butt naked. They're two men. You put women clothes on both of them. Dress, both of them got a dress, both of them got wigs, eyelashes, and the makeup. One identifies as trans and one identifies as gay. The average person that is not part of the trans community, and I honestly don't think people within the trans or the LGBT community off of looking at these two individuals would know how to decipher the two. Would know which one to call gay or which one to call trans, or which one to call male or which one to call female. The average person wouldn't know how to identify the two. People that's not of the trans community or the LGBT community feel as though that is unfair, that we're being put in a position to have to know the difference between the two. And then that's only two examples. There's other variations within that community that can just make things a bit more difficult to understand. And like I said, it can be so complicated that it will irritate people more so than it will to put them in the position to even want to learn or understand. You know what I'm saying?
But like I say, I mean,
Do you understand what I'm saying?
look, okay?
He doesn't care to understand what you're saying. That's part of the problem.
Like I tell you, we don't need to discriminate anybody in here. Okay? I'm so sorry if you feel discriminated.
No. It's not that I feel, it's that I was discriminated against.
Well, I mean, I'm so sorry. Like I said, I mean, if in your credit card it says the name,
Right.
you're the one handing the credit card,
But
correct?
look at me.
Okay, you're the
Right.
one. Okay, I can look at you.
What about me is presenting what you would call masculine right now? If you didn't see the name on my credit card and you were quickly handing me my card back, would you have said
Okay, man,
something?
What were you?
See, back in the day with me growing up, you might see a man dressed as a woman and you would call him either gay or feminine. It was like he was feminine. Like, you can be a male and be feminine as well. That might be what they're seeing here. You're like, oh man, this looks like a guy, but he's feminine. He's dressing like a female. He's feminine, but his name is on this credit card. It says David.
What would you like me to do, man? What would you like me to do? Because eventually you want something, correct?
I would like you to promise me.
Correct?
I would like you to promise me that you will stop treating trans people this way.
How I'm training you?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say it, but I'm not sure that will ever stop. And it's sad to say it, but I'm not sure that it will ever stop. I'm not sure that it will ever stop.
I'm treating you back?
And it's for all the reasons that I gave before. All four.
And am I doing it?
Your staff.
Am I doing it?
Your staff.
They're not doing that, man.
Yes, they were.
Okay, well, no. I mean, like I said, I mean, your name on the credit card is a feminine name?
No.
Exactly. They're not discriminating you.
Yes,
No,
they
they're not.
are. Because
they're not.
someone else could be paying.
But is anyone else paying? See, some of the arguments that people, and it's not just people of the LGBT community. People do this in general, male and female, LGBT or not. Some of the arguments that you try to set up as an examples are fictional arguments. It's like, yes, that could be a possibility, but it isn't in this case. Is that your card? You're the only one in this card. Is that your card? You should have been ID'd to use this card. In some places, you know, let's say a female would have walked in, you know, trying to purchase something. Like when I used to work at Target, a female walks in, she hands me a credit card and it has a male's name on it. I would have to ask to ID her. Now, if the name on the ID doesn't match with the name on the card, then I couldn't accept the payment.
By you handing the card.
I'm sorry. If someone else was sitting here that was a man, and I handed them
We can't use that argument because not someone else isn't sitting there that is a man.
that card, they would not have said anything.
Exactly. But that's not the case here. That's not the situation. That's why that argument isn't solid at all.
But because I'm alone, they're going to be an asshole
That doesn't make
and
them
discriminate against me.
That doesn't make them an asshole if that was your card and your name. It doesn't make them an asshole. What you feel makes them an asshole is the fact that they called you a sir because the name was a male name and that it was masculine. This forces people to fight against what they know to be true, what they grew up on, what they were born understanding. It's really not fair. I'm gonna be honest, it's not fair at all to try to get someone to think and believe something that they haven't thought or believed their entire life. It's not fair.
And be transphobic.
See? Nobody's transphobic like you're saying.
No,
Nobody
that
discriminating.
is what's happening.
No, that's how. you feel. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no, no. It's actually not how I feel.
Yes, you are.
There's
Because
a
you're telling
difference.
this because of that.
No, there's a difference.
You know, because I mean, like in my sexuality, whatever it is, and I feel confident of what I am.
I'm not talking about sexuality.
That's what you just telling me
You
right
don't
now.
even know what we're talking about.
You see, that's like I said. Like I said, it's hard. It's hard to fight for this when people don't understand it, and you can't force people to understand it. You can't do that. People have to care in order to want to understand it, and you can't make people care about anything that they don't care to care about. This fight will be a forever fight, and I'm not sure that it's one that will ever be won. And I'm not saying that to be negative. I'm just being honest.
So how can you tell me I don't know what I'm talking about? We're talking about gender identity. You're talking about sexuality.
Okay.
There's a difference.
What are you? So I can call you. What are you?
No.
What are you?
No. No, we can't do this. You can't do this. When the person sits there and asks you, what do you want to be called? So I know how to identify you by what it is that you want to be called, not by what it is that I know to be true based upon whatever it is that I was taught. What is it that you want? You can't say no. You can't not tell them. You have to tell them in order to gain and obtain the respect that you're looking for. Now listen to this.
What are you? Just
Why
what
does
are
it
you?
matter?
No, no. What are
You can't say why does it matter. Can't say why does it matter, because this incident would not be occurring if it didn't matter to you. It would not be occurring if it didn't matter to you.
are you?
Why does it matter?
What are you? Because,
Why does it matter?
Oh, it doesn't matter to you. But to me, I'm a male. Okay?
Okay?
So, what are you? So I can call you sir or ma'am. What are you?
What would you assume looking at me?
That is not how you're going to win this. Because if you ask me, if I'm looking at you and I see a mustache, if I'm seeing male traits, dominant male traits within this person, I can tell they got a wig on their head or they grew their hair out, wearing female clothes, wearing makeup, whatever it is they may be. But if my mind is telling me that this individual has a penis between their legs, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna say sir. And tell me what it is that you want to be called. Perfectly okay. And because I don't want to argue with you, yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. But it doesn't mean that I agree, and it doesn't mean that I have to agree. I just don't want to argue. Yes ma'am.
What are you?
What would you assume looking at me?
I would assume that
You're a man.
I'm glad he was honest. I'm glad that he was honest. But growing up, when the trans thing came about and was something that, you know, people really put more emphasis on, it was noted and it was accepted by so many that a trans was a person that was a man that dressed as a woman and identified as a woman. A man that identified as a woman. Not a woman by any stretch of the imagination, not a woman, but identified as a woman. That was the majority understanding of what a trans was in the early 2000s. But it sounds as though that it has changed. It's like, no, I am woman. I am woman.
Okay?
But not at all what I was expecting. Not at all what I was expecting. But I would have to agree with him if I would just saw this person. And this person looks like a Hispanic male dressed as a woman. You see the TikTok name down there? What's his, Eden Torres?
Okay?
Thank you. Whatever.
Even within cities where the LGBT community tends to be a bit more accepted, like here, Atlanta, New York, San Francisco. Even within those cities, there's a lot of different groups of religious beliefs that are from all over the world. And amongst some of those religions, some of them believe that homosexuality or anything attached to it is frowned upon. And even if you have, a subsector of people within those groups that want to accept it, they may not be able to, or feel as though they can't, because of their religion and because of how people within their group, within their family, within their circle may treat them or shun them if they see that they are associating with people of the LGBT trans community, right? That's the second reason as to why there will always be this struggle, this pushback within the trans and LGBT community when it comes to receiving the respect and acceptance that they're seeking. If you take those three main things that I said into account, which is having to care about a topic in order to want to learn about a topic, the second one being religion, and the third one being how we're brought up as kids. I feel as though if people of the LGBT community will take count and take note and really think about those things, maybe they won't be so hard on people that can't quite understand them as well as they would like them to. And I know it sucks because people of the LGBT community had the struggle through majority of their life to first accept themselves, and then after accepting themselves, having to fight to get other people to accept them as well, rather it been in their own household or the rest of society. I can only imagine how hard that struggle was for them. I can only imagine, right? Like I said, I'm gonna be honest, if I were to see this person, I would first call them a sir before calling them a ma'am. Now I know, look, there's gonna be some trans people that's watching. It's gonna be very upset with me saying that. And I get it, I understand. And you might be thinking, you don't get it, you don't understand. If you did get it, if you did understand, why would you call this beautiful trans woman a guy and not a woman first, huh? I would be more afraid to offend this person by calling them a woman if they don't want to be identified as a woman. Remember the examples I gave before. Two guys dressed up as women. One identifies as gay and one identifies as trans. The one that identifies as gay might not want to be considered a woman or called a woman. I remember there was a time back when I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke marijuana with just about anybody that was down to smoke some marijuana with me. I was talking to my buddy Jose, who I was hanging out with recently, and he even brought up this incident too. There was a guy that used to work at the convenience store where we used to get our blunts from all the time, and this white dude, and he had long hair. He always had these boobs. He always had these, I don't know if he was wearing a bra, he was stuffing them, or he had implants, or what the case was, but he had boobs, right? And one day we was, for whatever reason, because the dude was chill, he was real chill, we was smoking with him over by the baseball field, about a high school we used to go to. We were sitting, chilling, smoking with him, having a good time, cracking up, cracking jokes, this, that, and the fourth, and getting super high so we're a little bit more comfortable in the conversations that we're having, right? So we asked him, he's like, yo, you dress like a woman. We'll see you in dresses with the boobs and all this type of stuff. Like, do you identify as a woman? He's like, hell no, I'm a man. It's like, I just like to dress like a woman. So when you think, there's so many people that do things that you may not know about as far as what it is that they're doing and what their agenda is, and you don't know what you can say to them that will or will not offend them. Here's this guy that we used to see that would dress like a woman, wear dresses, boobs and all, but he would be offended had you call him a woman. He's like, oh, I'm a man. I'm every bit of a man. I'm a man. So I would first call this individual a man, and if they were to correct me, that's one thing. But because of my belief, it doesn't mean that I have to accept it. It doesn't mean that I have to accept it. And that's fair. That's fair. And y'all have to get on board with that to some degree. All right? Please leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. Y'all know what time it is. Like this video, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Stay tuned for more. As always, you can follow your boy on the gram and Twitter at Artofkickz. And I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. See ya.